The Shirtwaister Dress Sew Along Part 5, the final episode. I'm ready to add the sleeves. I'll use the paper pattern to mark the cutaway feature. I folded up the hem and cut the V shape and marked with chalk. I'll fold the hem back on itself and stitch the shape. One stitch across at the point. Cut out the V shape and snip into the point just short of the stitching. Then turn through. The hems are now pressed. When finished, it will be turned back. Next I will stitch the sleeve seam, matching the notches, and I will neaten the edge of the hem, ready for top stitching. I have neatened the sleeve seam and pressed it backwards. It's good practice to press the seam allowance inside the hem in the opposite direction, snipping at the hemline. I will be top stitching from this side, which will be on show when the cuff is turned back. Pin up and baste the cuff hem, ready for blind hemming. Hem using the blind hem stitch on your machine if you have it. Otherwise, you can hem by hand. For a flatbed machine, you need the sleeve right side out. A free arm machine is really handy for this job. In this case, you will have the sleeve inside out. Looking good. I think I'm more likely to wear this dress with the cuff folded up. So I will top stitch from this side. Many of my sewing patterns feature top stitching. The selvage jeans and the classic jeans, of course, several of my dress patterns, the raglan sleeve shirt dress, the princess line panel dress, the pinafore dress. Take a look at my video on top stitching. See the link. I like this V-shape feature and it's quite easy to do. The stitching doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. So that is both sleeves ready to be added to the bodice. Make sure you get them the right way around. There is almost no easing along the crown of the sleeve. This is a drop shoulder design. The dress is inside out. Slip the sleeve inside. Match the notch at the top of the sleeve to the shoulder seam. Match the front and back notches. Pin around the curve of the sleeve head, easing it in. The sides of the sleeve head are on the bias, which makes it easier to match the curve. Pin all around. The sleeve should fall into place nicely. Don't be afraid to use a lot of pins. Accuracy is worth it when it comes to sleeves. I will now hand baste all the way around. I have said it many times before, don't sew over pins. I always used to. Then a follower who is also a doctor told me about the risks. So now I always baste. Ready for the machine. Watching this now, I was wondering why I didn't sew in the sleeves before adding the skirt. Would it have been easier not having to rotate the whole dress? Thinking it through though, I had to join the waist seam first in order to then add the zip and complete the side seam. I will trim and neaten the seam allowance, ready for the next stage. The top stitching. I am pressing the sleeve seam towards the bodice. A tailor's ham helps with this. As I'm going to top stitch, I need the seam under the arm to be pressed towards the bodice too. So this needs to be snipped. That makes it much easier. Start top stitching at the underarm. It is a little awkward, but it won't show if you wiggle a bit. Pull the seam apart as you go along. You don't want to create a fold. As always, use the stitch compensation tool for the lumpy bits. As you can see, the bodice is inside out, and I'm having to get right inside. I'm leaving long threads for sewing in. Now for the second run. Always use the needle down setting if you have it. You won't lose your place while you are jiggling about. Yes, that'll do just fine. I can't wait to wear this dress. Denim with orange top stitching It is just so iconic. It's an American story, of course, originating from Levi Strauss & Co., dating back to the mid-19th century and the California gold rush. Necessity being the mother invention, of course. Miners needed durable, long-lasting clothing. The orange thread was matched to the copper rivets. Levi Strauss still have copyrights over certain of these iconic features. So, continuing with our dress, the last job is to sew the hem and top stitch, of course. Try on the dress at this stage, measure up from the floor. The distance from the floor needs to be even all round. Trim if necessary. The pattern suggests a 1.5 inch 4 centimetre hem. Pin all round. Then hand baste. Remove the pins before blind hemming. Blind hem using the blind hem stitch and foot on your machine if you have that feature. Otherwise, hemming by hand is just as good. Test your stitch first on spare fabric. Make sure your stitching isn't too visible on the right side. This looks pretty good. Then the final top stitching. So that's the 710 shirtwaister dress finished. I would love to hear from you. Have you made this dress already from the fast version of this sew-along? Do you think you might make it? You can buy the pattern from my website, angelakane.com. If you are a full member, you can download it now, along with over 50 of my classic sewing patterns. Check the cost of full membership on angelakane.com. This dress would be great in corduroy. Also, lightweight wool would be good. Linens, and I think I might try it in jersey knit. Have some fun with this sewing pattern. Please subscribe to this channel here on YouTube. All my tutorials and sew-alongs are free. Hit the notification button and you won't miss any of them. If you subscribe to this channel and check the like button, you will be supporting all my free content. Thank you for watching.